Hey guys, welcome to The Squat Plug, episode 26. In this episode, we go over the Ashton Bailey, aka TooBuff4Thisss situation in vivid detail. There's a lot going on, a lot to unpack. Tune in, let us know what you think. Like, subscribe, share.
What's up, guys? Welcome to The Squat Plug, episode 26. In our last episode, we said we were going to talk about a very serious problem in powerlifting right now, which is domestic violence and coaches abusing their positions of power. However, we could not coordinate the guest, and there is another not more pressing, but similarly pressing matter that all kind of ties into it anyways, which is this whole Ashton Bailey and Goob situation, which I am really not the proprietor of or not the most knowledgeable about. So I'm going to kick it over to Yealy, and he could kind of explain what's going on here. And we'll ask, as in me and Mateo, or Mateo and I will ask some follow-up questions. So what the hell is going on, man?
So, a lot is going on, and it started last January, back in 2023. I don't, maybe the public out there doesn't know, but Ashton Bailey, aka TooBuff4Thisss, was one of the partners of Whitetail at the time. I would say he was doing pretty well by the company, that kind of stuff. Responded very quickly to customer issues, that kind of stuff. His engagement was up there. And, we onboarded him because he was a person who came up with the idea of, in other words, like Alibaba selling cheaper deadlift slippers, which are, otherwise being sold for a very high price. And so I initially offered him a 10% discount code, that kind of stuff. He said, I wouldn't mind being a partner. I said, hell, the fact that you came up with this idea and whatnot, I think it's the right thing to have you on board. So we put him on board. And then later on, we picked up another partner, Hussam, if you guys are aware of him, the gym freak. And, we had the four partners. We're doing our thing, whatever. And then on January 21st, we get, in fact, before I even got the DMs, I got a very frantic phone call from Ashton.
January 21st, 2023.
Yes, 2023. And on the phone call, he was actually crying about how an accusation come up and this, that, and the other thing. I said, hold on a second. I have no idea what's going on. And he told me to go take a look at the Whitetail page. At the time, I didn't have access to the Whitetail page. It was just through through him. It was through Hussam and through Mateo that it was administered, right? And so I said, what's going on? He said, maybe check out your DMs. And I looked at my requests, and sure enough, there was some random kid by the name of Sebastian who was telling us some stuff that our athlete was paying underage girls to talk to him, And I was like, what the hell's going on here? And had a conversation go back and forth with that kid after the fact. But so Ashton goes and he says, the accusations are false. It never happened, yada, yada. I'm like, Ashton, are you sure? Because if they're talking about having reached out to Goob, if they're talking about having reached out to Powerlifting Mama, if you're lying to me and we get caught up in this, it's going to be a big problem. And he said, oh, no, well, she told me she was 18. So, she went from telling me it never happened at all to the fact that she was 18, to the fact that she was 18, whatever, to the fact that she said she was 18.
And he also said that after he found out she was underage, he just kept it cordial. Mm-hmm. That's what he was saying.
And we found out that was not the case at all. Yeah, so we didn't. I was iffy about the entire thing. This kid randomly hitting us up. It was the whole USPA debacle going on. Goob was canceling them. There's a whole lot of canceling, this person, the other person, just a whole bunch of shit. A whole lot of those claims, came out to be, less than sound. So we wanted to tread carefully over here. Again, we had a contract with Ashton as well as as business people, so on and so forth. I didn't want to make this hot. I didn't want to have a situation on our hands. So I said, let's talk to Goob, since Goob is your friend, and I had known Goob as well by that point in time. We had a bit of a rapport. So surely this guy be able to vet this, and so on and so forth. In hindsight, it was the most ridiculous thing we possibly could have done. So he said he hopped on a call with Goob, and that Goob had cleared him. The voice note that we have and whatnot actually shows, shows Ashton admitting the fact that he did this. He calls it his mistake.
So actually, I just talked to him. This was actually something that he said that has actually been brought up to him before. And he said that, he said, no, I understand. I know it was a mistake. He said it's not one of those fucking Evan Carden things where he's just hunting for these girls and shit like that, of course. And he said that he said like, yo, we're good. He said, you don't got to worry about it. Nothing's going to happen.
He says that when he was on his phone call with Goob, and it turns out he wasn't talking to him about this at all. I really doubt it now. That Goob had said it was a mistake. He understood. It's not like he was chasing after these girls like Evan Cardin, who was hunting after these girls. And Evan Cardin, if people don't know out there, is a powerlifter who was grooming and sexting minors and trying to like arrange dates with them and that kind of stuff. It was pretty nasty. Like it was a big debacle a couple of maybe a year or two ago. So that kind of stuff. And we said, I guess mistakes happen, see what happens. The kid Sebastian sent me some screenshots of the conversation. It was like, I want to say it was him talking. Well, it was Ashton allegedly talking to the girl. And I'd never seen anything of this nature from Ashton before. Like nothing, no evidence of the nature. This is the first time we had an incident like this with him, period, point blank. So I was quite circumspect. And then shortly thereafter, the kid's account disappeared. So when his account disappeared, I kind of thought maybe this is BS, right? So like there's an allegation out there. The kid deleted his account from shame. He was called bullshit. Maybe got reported. It's like fucking to being banned. And we went about our business as usual up until it was like I think in February.
Either February or March.
Yes, in February we ended up with Ashton telling us that somebody was trying to hack our accounts, and that if we didn't pay a certain amount of money, I forget it was $250 or $500. What was it?
For the White Toe page, it was like $2,000.
$2,000.
Yes.
So trying to extort the White Toe page out of $2,000 for quote unquote protection from being banned, and we refused to oblige. And then
was he in on this extortion thing, or was
absolutely
he extorted himself?
Nope. So he was in on this extortion thing.
Interesting.
Yes. So what took place basically? Now he hit two of our lifters the same thing, and in fact the third one I think another individual as well. So we all said no. And then the next day, lo and behold, our accounts go down. I tried signing into Instagram and whatnot. I'm incapable of doing so. It says your account has been deactivated. If you don't reach out within a certain period of time, your account is going to be deleted permanently. And I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? So we went through the whole process of restoring my account, and I reached out to the two athletes who had the same experience, and they told me what they dealt with. And it was Ashton who was speaking to them through a third party named Khalil. Now, Khalil, many people don't know who this is a social media, I want to say, facilitator of sorts, right? So he basically, if you have reports on your account, he gets them removed. If you're shadow banned, he gets you unshadow banned. If your account is hacked, he gets it unhacked. If there's somebody you don't like out there, he can hack their account as well. I didn't think any of this was fucking real. I thought it was all fucking bullshit because this entire thing was brand new to me. Like I've heard this spiel 1,000 times. It's all bullshit. Like Meta surely doesn't allow people that kind of power. It's impossible. And lo and behold, it came to roost at our fucking doorstep, and it turned out that indeed it was possible, and it happened to us. At which point, I started questioning a whole lot of things.
Which is why you currently have the blue check mark.
Yes, this is why I have the blue check mark, to protect my account in the event that this takes place. To date, I've had my account attacked and restored maybe a dozen times right now, to date.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. I'm such a likable guy. I don't have any enemies out there. But that kind of stuff. So they got their account up, and they said that Ashton was brokering with them, with the other party, kind of pressing them to pay, and they chose not to pay, and somehow they managed to get their account back up. It was just like this whole weird fucking thing. And I thought to myself, like he could actually silence somebody he doesn't like here. And I thought harder, and I said, the kid who made the accusation, his account is deactivated. The victim's Instagram account was also plain to see and whatnot. Her Instagram account was also deactivated. So seeing these coincidences take place over here, I was like, holy shit, this confirms it. He would not have done this unless he had an actual fucking threat coming from these people. This is legit in my mind.
So are you saying that those two accounts, like that had happened to those two accounts, they were being extorted and refused to pay, and that's why their accounts were deactivated? Or
that was my suspicion. When it comes down to Sebastian, it turns out that was not the case. He had somebody actually, some of his friends apparently, some people he knew, actually taken over his account and done that to him, is what he told me. But when it comes down to the victim, I haven't heard that from her at all. Where it's a very delicate subject right now. We're doing our best.
Understandable.
Yeah, we're doing our best to navigate the situation without outing her, and without getting getting her in any kind of trouble, or the case happens to be. I don't know if you can tell, but Goob's mob has been absolutely relentless in all this. But that kind of stuff, though. So that happens, and now I'm trying to find. What was it? March? Was it March or was it in April that we fired Hussam and Ashton?
I think it was late March.
Late March. So late March.
Can I just say though, the entire fact that the whole Goobs mob or whatever you want to call them is focusing on everything. It's like everything but Ashton himself. It's like why is nobody saying, hey, like, what about the fact that we do have some evidence to show that Ashton was soliciting underage girls. So like, why don't we focus on that and try to get to the bottom of that instead of this like petty beef between you and Goob and the way you phrase things and this, oh, it was sketchy, asked him to meet up. Like, sure, you guys can critique all those stupid little details that don't really matter, but like at the end of the day, this isn't about that. So like, it's really frustrating that there is people coming down and like in your DMs and like, it's just, that's fucking insanity to me.
It's insane to me as well, because it is indeed credible. You have women in another woman's post by the dozens talking about their experiences with Ashton.
I've seen enough women talk about their experiences with Ashton to know that there's something not right here. Yeah. Anyway,
and
that was last year.
Yeah, and those like in that comment section was actually the people coming out were actually like months ago. Like it was not like now with Yuli, like now like that Yuli made this post about Ashton. Those girls like were talking about this like months ago. It was like I think 25 weeks ago.
Yes. So it's well known that he is that guy. He is the missing stair. Now what the missing stair is basically is you have in social circles and that kind of stuff, you have a certain individual who's a liability, who needs to be managed, right? It's like, like your missing stair, you put a warning up there, stay away from the stair. That's what some people do as well with Ashton. He needs to be handled. He needs to be managed to protect other people.
Built a staircase with a missing stair.
Yeah, well, some people like having missing stairs in a circle apparently as well. So that kind of stuff. But that takes place. Now I'm on the trail trying to find Sebastian after we fire Hussam and Ashton. Again, both actually leave the company. And I didn't get in touch with him until November 1st of 2023. I pretty much gave up on the entire thing. I was like, I want to say virtually, like at least a couple times a week, I look into the victim's account, I look for Sebastian, so on and so forth. I wouldn't find anything up there. And then November 1st of 2023, I'm looking in my stories and I see Sebastian at the bottom of it. I was embroidered a little bit in a little beef with Joe Sullivan, right? And I look at my DMs, and who's in my DMs talking shit to me about Joe Sullivan? Sebastian, the initial accuser. So I respond to him, we go back and forth like, yo, listen, I don't believe it's you. I thought legit, like, he was a plant there by Ashton or by who knows who. Like I need some verification that it is indeed him. So I said, I'm not going to believe it's you until we have a FaceTime conversation. We get on the phone and we have a FaceTime conversation through Instagram for an hour and a half. And he confirms all the suspicions. He confirms, like, all the accusations, that kind of stuff. And he confirms his account had gotten deleted. And I thought it was legit. Like, I thought that, like, he was hacked by Ashton. And then I found after the fact, while speaking to another party, because there are many actors in this, that his account was actually deleted by his friends. So that happens November 1st. November 2nd, I'm in Orlando. I'm in Orlando for the Olympia. And who do me and Mateo encounter at the carousel out there? At the wrong carousel, by the way? But Goob, who's speaking to some other dude, sees me, peels off from the dude, and comes up to me and starts chewing my ear off for the next hour and a half, talking about Joe Sullivan. Yeah, because I went to his house, we broke bread, it's the ultimate betrayal, he betrayed me. And I'm like trying to speak to him about the whole Ashton situation. I'm trying to speak to him about the Kate Haddad situation. And I couldn't get a word in edgewise because of how much shit he was talking about Joe Sullivan. Like the dude was fucking fuming at the mouth about him, right? So now this is where Goop comes into the equation, and I've known Goop since 2022. We had like a back and forth about Joe Sullivan again, because Joe Sullivan was roasting some woman on her squat forum, and I challenged Goop on the post like, this is wrong. You shouldn't be talking shit about this from this forum. This is 100% incorrect, and we went back and forth. I told him, listen, you can say what you want to whatnot, but you're 100% incorrect if you're referring to Joe Sullivan as an expert in any situation. He's a charlatan and that kind of stuff, and that he shouldn't be taken seriously. And then we ended up, I guess, developing, I want to say, a bit of kind of a friendship. USPA beef took place and whatnot, and we went back and forth, and we actually I reposted his stuff, he reposted mine. He told me a lot about the whole Kate Haddad situation as well. That's how I became familiar with most of what was taking place there. And then when I found out what was actually taking place as far as the whole particulars of that, I brought it his way. And in September 2023, he said he was going to pursue this. He's like, "Oh, I love you, bro. Thank you, blah blah. You're a hero," whatever, like some weird shit. Like I have the screenshots for it. I posted in stories numerous times. And I followed back up after meeting him at the Olympia, where he wouldn't let me speak about anything else apart from Joe Sullivan. But in December, I hit him up. I'm like, "Yo, did you ever follow up on the Kate Haddad thing?" And he told me I have not. So I said, "Okay, I'm pursuing it," and I did. Fast forward to March. We get a hold of the victim now. We somehow find her account. I had somebody where she lives out in another country reach out to her. She responded, I want to say, almost entirely because this guy had a very large following on TikTok. I have nobody on TikTok. I have a fucking puny ass following out there. I have no clout at all on Instagram, to be honest, So she did respond to any of my attempts to contact. He contacts her immediately. Once maybe the next day or two, he gets a response. So the trail goes hot again. I DM Goob. I'm like, "Yo, just so you know," because now it's in my mind, and after hearing her testimony as well, it was cemented. Everything was solid over here. I'm like, "Just so you know, somebody on your team did something very naughty. I'm kind of like busting chops and joking around over here. That's my whole thing." And immediately he takes it the wrong way. His response is not what I was anticipating here, not what I was hoping to see. I thought there was a possibility that if he was in on it, he'd respond a certain kind of way, and his response was that certain kind of way. So I held back. And from what I understand, I was told that in January 2023, Sebastian had made a comment under Goob's post, calling out Ashton for calling out the USP and the whole pedophile stuff. He was basically saying, "Funny how you should mention this when you indeed are a pedophile yourself." Ashton immediately blocked the kid, deactivated his account, and then reactivated 24 hours later, apparently, unbeknownst to me. I just thought maybe his account got hacked again, from my end. Because Ashton's account's been taken down on numerous occasions.
Oh, yeah.
Come and find out.
Hold on. Ashton's account has been taken down on numerous occasions?
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's why if you go on his Instagram right now, his IG handle is TooBuff4Thisss with 4 S's. Every single time his account would get deactivated, he would add 1 S to his handle and make a new account, basically.
And that's in addition to the other. He had TooBuff4Thisss 2, TooBuff4Thisss 3, TooBuff4Thisss 4, and they all got taken down. And now he's on TooBuff4Thisss with 3 S's.
So I'm just trying to reconcile him having friends at Instagram extort people's accounts or whatever, but then on the other hand, he's also getting his account deactivated. So he doesn't have, and you would think that he would have some protection from this if he did have friends at Meta. So
that protection only entered the equation. I want to say roughly around that time. Around maybe November 2022, and so on and so forth. I remember Goob posting Khalil and saying this guy had rendered services to his account because Goob was also being taken down quite regularly. People mass reporting his account and that kind of shit. And so he enlisted in this. And look at the DMs. Goob talks about how he worked with Khalil and he calls Khalil a thief. That kid is a thief, is what he says. And the screenshots are there. They're readily available.
So Khalil is the extortioner.
Yes.
Do you think he's just trying to hit everybody? That he's not friendly with anyone? He's just actually just trying to just hit as many people as he can, including Ashton, Goob.
So how this works out is this way. So Khalil's cousin, from what Ashton had told me, because we had a heated debate about this. Imagine your account is your company's business account is being potentially attacked, or potentially being compromised. Somebody tells you that you need to pay $2,000 or else. You're gonna take it kind of personally.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just trying to clarify.
Yeah, sure. So it turns out that Khalil's cousin was a security guard or an intern. In fact, an intern out at Meta. And now Meta has a program for its employees, as lowly as security guards and as interns, which is called the OOPS program, OOPS. And you can Google it, whoever's out there and whatnot. I want you to Google the OOPS program by Meta. And it allows you to mark an account as hacked, as though it's your own account. And you can essentially reset your account. So if you have bans and that kind of stuff on it, like shadow bans, you have reports on your account, it wipes the slate clean. Now, when you mark an account as hacked, as though it's your own, you, the actual owner, lose access to it during that time until you can prove that it's yours, because that person is marking it as their account. And it's part of the Oops program. This is one of the features that they have. And I was fucking gobsmacked when it happened to me. I was like, how the fuck would they allow something this fucking ridiculous in the power, in the hands of such fucking like unvetted people as fucking interns? Fucking interns, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I feel like there was a massive oversight there.
Yes. So that happens, and he has a whole lot of sway as a result of this for a while. And from what I understand, I think partly because of this situation, Meta gets a hold of this, realizes it's happening, and it starts to do a little bit of a crackdown on these accounts that are doing this. And now hearing from other reports of people who've been scammed similarly, Khalil is saying that he's going to roll the accounts back, unhack them, and he's charging people $500 a clip and that kind of stuff. I spoke to some people, some very big account names, right? Because they've been in my DMs about this as well. And Khalil would tell them that for $500, he was going to unban their friends' accounts. Now, the second party is now acting as intermediary between the hacked account and the unhacker, Khalil. And it wouldn't happen. All of a sudden, he lost his privileges.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. That is all very interesting.
Yes.
Though it does seem like it's a bit of a tangent, or at least a bit unrelated to
But it ties into this
the
because
main. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like, how does
So
that
how-
kind of tie into the whole?
So how it ties into this is because if these people are out there extorting people and they're having other people do their work for them, are they in on this? Are they collecting money themselves? Are they collecting royalties, commissions?
Yeah. I'm with you there.
Yes.
But what does that have to do with the victim itself and Ashton?
So the victim's account disappeared.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's
I'm going to speak to the victim because now we have access with her once again. You know, she's very scared of the entire situation. She's seen Goob's response from this, and she's become increasingly skittish, rightfully so. You know, she wasn't going to come forward with the story until she had other women come forward with the story. And I saw this happening, and I was like, you know, in June, I was like, all right, it's high time we do something here. Because the trail's getting cold over here, Ashton's account is growing large and whatnot. You know, it's about time that we make something happen.
so the connection is excuse me. So the connection is that now Ashton has a connection to shut accounts down that could potentially paint him in a negative light, right? So if he has people
Yes.
out saying negative things about him, he could go, "Hey, so and so, you know, I need you to deactivate this
Yes.
person's account."
Or he had that power until it happened to us. I want to say maybe in February or something like that. I'm not sure whether that still continues, whatever the case happens to be. I know her account is no longer active. I know my account was deactivated. I know the accounts of two of my lifters, the very least, were deactivated as well. You know, and in a similar fashion. Like, you know, no strikes. It wasn't me doing anything controversial. Just like lo and behold.
So it's
threats-
interesting though that he was saying initially that like, oh, you know, I didn't know that she was young and yada yada yada. But now it comes to the point where he may be paying
Yes.
someone at Meta to deactivate accounts that
Precisely.
could bring this information to light, which is that's a pretty interesting part of it.
You see, and that's when I start putting two and two together. So that happens. I'm like, oh shit, it's legit. This actually did happen. He's fucking getting rid of the witnesses. You know, like essentially he's like,
Basically, yeah, that's ultimately what it comes down to, right? Is like wiping the identities of the witnesses off the internet as much as he can, anyways.
so now fast forward to I want to say March of this year. In fact, a couple months ago, we get a hold of her, the victim. And we have like a conversation, that kind of stuff, like through a third party. And he's talking to her and that kind of stuff, says what she's thinking, yada, yada. And she says she's not going to come forward unless other women come forward. So we've established at this point in time that she's coming forward because a high clout account, you know, approached her. So the highest clout account that I knew at the time, and somebody who actually delved this material and could potentially have protected her, because he has like a swarm of fucking like ravenous followers and shit like that, was John Dorsey, aka Goob. So hence me reaching out to him. And I have my suspicions as well. So I wanted to meet with him in person because if he was tied into the whole hacker scammer situation and whatnot, he could also be on board with this. He could have been compromised by Ashton. Who the hell knows? Like so many different concerns in my mind. he's had a shady past, the whole Jamal Browner situation. He says it was a friendly conversation with him and the girl. The girl was 14 years old. She told him she was 18 years old. And in the DMs between what you call Goob, John Dorsey, and a few other people in this chat called Toxic Barber Club, he says how his ex-girlfriend used to look 12 years old. And so just a whole bunch of like weird shit over here. He's defending Jamal Browner and all kinds of weird stuff. He has a tendency doing this stuff. One of his friends, Anthony Santucci, was also charged with rape on an MTV show some years ago, and he settled with a TV show, and now they're currently friends. It was very weird. You can look, just literally Google Santucci, and you see who shows up there. There's a laundry list of like shit that took place there. It's widely known, and so he consorts with these same people. Meantime, he's out there canceling these people. So the conflicts here abound. The red flags are like numerous. So I wanted to have him basically in person, so I could speak to him and see what's taking place, and maybe disabuse the concerns that I had there, and also prevent him from spinning the narrative negatively against me, which is what he did.
He's certainly been trying.
Yes, he has. So in late June, I reached out to him, we had a conversation because he's on my stories again, and he's like staring at my stories, and I respond to him like, "Listen, I see you in my stories, and how about instead of this, we actually talk over here, blah blah." And we go back and forth, and he's like, "You need to keep my name out of your mouth." I'm like, Goob has known about this, has been told about Ashton on numerous occasions, which is true. He has indeed been told about Ashton on numerous occasions. And then he threatens me, and he says, like, "Keep your name out of my mouth, or else, blah, blah." And then he reaches out to another person, and he threatens that person with lawsuits. He says he's going to sue the individual for defamation for defamation if he continues with this. Interesting. And he reaches out to yet another person and says he's going to get this person fired for this. So it's him, I want to say, like playing screen for Ashton, like defending him, like whether he is actively or not. This is what he's doing by doing this. He's trying to tell me to not do this. So on June 27th, I mentioned his name again, and he goes, "Oh, that's it, blah blah." I'm like, "All right, listen, let's talk now. Here's the evidence." I presented the screenshots there and the voice note of Ashton admitting to having done what he did, admitting to having like sex to the minor.
And admitting to having spoken to Goob.
And saying that he spoke to Goob. So like admitting and actually having spoken to Goob are two different things.
Yeah. Right.
So he said he did. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not I can't bullshit.
But at least he brought it up. He
did.
He showed us a screenshot. Ashton showed us a screenshot of him calling Goob, basically. And the phone number actually ties to Goob.
It was Goob's number.
So then Ashton sent us a voicemail saying basically, "Oh, I had a conversation with Goob. I just sent you guys a screenshot of me calling him, and this is what we talked about, basically."
And then, if I remember correctly, Goob was trying to say that Ashton didn't say anything.
It was just a mistake, basically.
Yeah, I would have remembered if he mentioned.
Yeah.
I mean, that's easy to say, but why are you having an hour and a half long conversation? That must.
No, he wasn't. He was having a minute. It was a minute-long conversation.
Oh, a minute. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes. So I want to say at that time, I was pretty damn fucking flustered, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, that's interesting though. So like, what, a minute phone call for what?
Who the fuck knows? He could have called them and just said like, "How's the weather?" Yada yada, blah blah, all kinds of stupid shit. Anything's possible. And I was seeing and catching Ashton.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think a minute is really long enough.
Yeah, it's not. It isn't. And
to admit to something like that, like it's not just hey, guess what I did.
I know exactly. So it 100% backs up.
I'm just like, what is the connection there? Like, why is he protecting Ashton? Is my question. Is like, I think at this point, is it the supplement company, or is there like?
No, at this point in time, I think it's spite to a large extent, because in other words, I'm telling him to do something and he refused to do so. He's not going to budge now. He's committed.
Like spiteful of you. That just doesn't compute, really. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're...
So what he told the other person was that he's not going to help us in this. He said to this individual... In fact, give me a second. I'm actually going to pull up the DMs.
Well, because, like, if that's his entire identity, or, like, internet identity is, like, exposing people for the bad shit that they do, whether that's actual bad shit or... photoshopping a smaller waist on a bikini photo, that's what he does. So you would think that regardless of his relationship to anyone, if it were to come out that they were doing things that he typically exposes people for, that
so check this out.
He wouldn't play favorites in that position. You know what I mean?
You'd think so, but take a look at this. Yes, but now here's a conversation exactly 1 week ago. So June 29th at 11:47 p.m. This is after the fact. He goes, are you looking into the Ashton situation? He goes, I attempted to. This cringeworthy idiot refused to give me any information, then posted this about me. In around June 28th or 27th, this is from Goop. My answer to you is the same as everyone else. I tried to, and Brolic is a fucking autist and refused to give me any information despite multiple requests, and then slandered me publicly despite him having constructive knowledge that he refused to provide me information. That's false. I said that he knew about this, and he did know about this. That's not slander. As of today, continued, I've continued to look into it, but continue to run into fucking retards like blank person that refuse to give me concrete information that they tell me they have and then refuse to share. So yes, I've attempted to look into it, but everyone who has the information refuses to give it to me or answer any of my questions. So that answers your question. And this is after I'd already given him the information. So now he's denying he received the information after having received the information. At this point in time, he's already blocked me. He goes, I said...
And did he call you an autist and the R word? And then
Yes, he
had
did.
the nerve to talk about
Yes.
slander?
Yes, I know. And he goes, you all deserve to get blasted for it. If the story is true, withholding information about child abuse, and this woman is an adult, and I've told him this, currently, I have zero trust for any of you. You have publicly defamed me, and now you're asking me to help you. I wouldn't piss in any of your mouths if they were on fire. If you have proof of abuse, call the police. And this person says, I'm not asking you for any favors or to trust me for anything. The situation is being taken care of as far as I know, presently. The most hilarious part about all this is what your one source of information that you all blindly trust and report back for is a gigantic clown that refused to provide proof of anything he speaks on, after already having given him all the proof I fucking have. So now he's lying here. He's pretending he doesn't have the proof after he's been given the proof. So what the fuck is the deal here?
And he assumes you don't even have like a better solution.
Yes. But now he goes on. He says, that's why I said...
The whole mouth on fire situation.
Yes,
You're
yes.
a fucking firefighter.
So listen to this. So it goes on, and the person who's my friend is saying, now, I mean, the screenshots that look pretty bad. And Goob has seen these screenshots. And now it's being looked into more. That's why I didn't say throw Ashton into the fire. That's why I asked if you were looking into it when I first messaged you. Like I said, I want the truth. And Goob's response, you understand what I wouldn't piss on your mouth if it were on fire means, right? You spoke about me as if I was implicit in this publicly and you had zero information. You still haven't apologized, and now you're asking for my help. So he's resistant to this. Yeah. And then to the other individual who we're talking about over here as well, the third individual in this who's on my side, he threatened to report him to his job and to get him fired. You know, so where is his his honesty? Where is his integrity, his pursuit for justice, so to speak? And it's not there because he feels offended, because he chose to feel offended. And if you look at the screenshots that I have, which I have, by the way, I have my screenshots of what I said. And what I say to him is he's known about this, and he's like, what I've been told was that he did know about this. So I'm not operating on falsities over here. I'm working with what people have told me. You know,
I agree. I feel like this is something that's taking the focus away from the actual issue.
Yes, and not to make matters worse.
That's the unfortunate part of it, because then predators in this situation, right? They get to continue just doing what they do because, you know, the whole focus is on this drama between Goob and Yili, and like,
which is ridiculous, honestly.
So ridiculous.
It is. And I had to respond because, not for nothing else, I mean, he made 2 whole posts about me.
Yeah, of course you're going to respond to that. You know, look at his following, you know, and you're just, you know, like his audience is far more broad than yours, right? So like it goes far beyond powerlifting, and there's now a ton of people who have no idea who you are that are just taking his word.
Yes, who also have no idea. Yes.
Who are not seeing both sides of the scenario. They're just, you know, Brolic Graham bad.
Precisely, but even
said so. You know, that's a really unfortunate part of it as well.
Yes. Now, even worse than that is the fact that they don't know who Ashton is. If they're in the powerlifting community and they are familiar with Ashton's background, his behaviors and whatnot, this would be no shock to anybody.
Well, let's be honest. This is enough of a problem in powerlifting that a lot of people are not really going to give a shit to begin with. You know, we're seeing that with this whole domestic violence situation, right? Where it's now been 2 times. I'm not going to get into too many details, but it's been 2 times at a gym, right? And the owner of the gym has not done anything about not just letting the victims kind of just remove themselves from the situation, so he doesn't have to deal with anything.
Yes.
And the status quo can just continue on, and he doesn't have to be in an uncomfortable position, and that makes you complicit in it, right? It's like, just because you're not like a bad person, but you're also not righteous, like, you just being quiet is also you being complicit in any of these scenarios. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not speaking up for these victims and against violence, and like against soliciting underage girls and any of this like really creepy fucking behavior, then like, do better. Like, I'm not going to go as far as to call you a bad person, but do fucking better. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree. And what's crazy is like now I'm bringing light to the situation. And now these idiots in mass are hitting me up and saying I'm doing this for clout. How the fuck am I doing this for clout?
Who said that?
Like all his fucking audience and shit like that is in my fucking DMs, is in my fucking comments section saying I'm doing this for clout and that kind of stuff. And it's just a disingenuous fucking statement. It's patently false. If I was doing this for clout, I would have brushed this under the rug. It benefits me. It would have benefited me to have kept both him and Hussam on board. I got rid of them. This is a costly decision for us. Imagine how many people out there are questioning why we got rid of them, not knowing why.
You've never been a clout chaser. You're just a fucking loudmouth.
Exactly,
I mean, but seriously though, like, you're the type of dude who roots for the underdog. Like,
I am, bro. I've been invited to the boys club, right? To be part of that, like in many different, different times. We had Ashton actually part of the company. But I don't operate that way.
You could have very easily ignored all that stuff and went on to white toe fame and fucking, consent, but now it's like you recognized, what you recognized, and you handled it the way you handled it. And like, it shows your character. It shows your integrity.
True. But now, yes. So now the issues I have, the other people out there, they feel like as though like the stories are fabricated. And there are hundreds of stories here. There are hundreds, if not thousands of screenshots. Bro, my phone is fucking backlogged. If you look at the past couple of weeks, all you see is like fucking white and black and so on and so forth from all the DMs I've received about it.
It's like some of these people want the victims to come out and like give a detailed account, like on video. Like, I'm not going to believe it until they give like a detailed account on video and like expose themselves and like put themselves through that traumatic experience. Like, I'm not going to believe them until I see something like that.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to believe this until I have a notary public for each one of the criminal acts that Ashton does. Yeah. Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? So now what you see here is a whole bunch of burner accounts making these statements, first off. There'll be a whole bunch of people with 0 followers, 0 posts, no profile picture, and that kind of stuff, making these stupid-ass comments, and people are asking why I'm deleting these comments because of fucking burner account comments. They do not deserve the fucking time of day. It's insults or disingenuous remarks and that kind of shit. It's patently fucking, it's horseshit. And the people who are actually like real accounts there, and again, people are insulting me over here. You look at it, and it's like a whole bunch of these fucking like bro dudes, these fucking assholes and shit like that, who would do some shit like this, So this is why they want this aired out, because they want to get away with their own antics. What I would surmise over here, And then you hit them with logic, and then fucking like the Goob army shows up and whatnot, and like mass like bombs everything they say there. But mass likes don't make it right. Because you have a follower base of 750,000 plus people fucking liking comments and engaging and supporting the narrative doesn't mean that's correct. Goob hit me up and says, yeah, because you don't have evidence, that's why people respect me and they don't respect you. Respect? I respond to them like, respect? I'm like, the people supporting you right now have nothing to lose in this. They can say whatever the fuck they want for any pittance of... So yes. So I said to him, they're doing this for any pittance of clout that they can get from you, any kind of recognition to get your attention. Respect is the people who decide to defend me while having a whole lot to lose. People who didn't fucking know me from a hole in the fucking wall coming to fucking bat for me and shit like that. Not to blow me up and whatnot, because I don't matter in this. I'm the messenger. I figure in this as much as just a mouthpiece for the problem that's taking place, tries to correct the situation. I don't deserve any credit. I don't deserve anything of that nature. I just want this problem to be dealt with. And instead of that happening, he sends this fucking swarm of people against me. My email account was hacked on 2 occasions. My fucking I was enlisted for many different services for garage repair, for fucking plumbing, for fucking car insurance, all kinds of crazy shit. I don't have a garage. I don't need my car repaired. I don't need any plumbing taken care of with them. I have people fucking call me day in and day out about this shit now. I have fucking people calling my fucking job. And then fucking texting me after I fucking lambasted them about the stupid shit and defending a pedophile. It was a nurse, by the way, from New York. A nurse from New York who claimed to have FDNY members in her family decided to fucking come after me that way. And how does she tie into this? She follows Ashton. She follows fucking Goob.
It's wild to me too how irresponsible he is with this platform. Like the fact that he could just it's not like he doesn't know that he could get, you know, a third of his followers to you know, band together and wield pitchforks at the drop of a hat over anything that he says is like, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, right? Like it's not that he doesn't understand that he has this power. So like he needs to be more responsible with his platform and not just fucking lamb-based people, you know, that have good intentions, that are just trying to expose fucking bad people within our space, within our community.
But,
you know, it's
now
fucking ridiculous.
But now he also wields this follower base as a weapon. On June 17th.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen to this. On June 17th, he has a post. The caption is X. Big story dropping within the hour. Super high profile person. Gonna need the army to clock in. So he knows what he's doing. He recruits these people, be it through Telegram.
You know what's crazy is like, yeah, sure, if the person's actually like a pedophile, bad person, but you're gonna like cancel some bodybuilding, like you're gonna have 100,000 people like hating some random fucking guy that like does amateur bodybuilding that photoshopped a photo one time, and now he's hated within his own community because fucking Goob did a post on him. Like I feel like that is the most ridiculous shit.
I agree. The man is patently a fucking psychopath. When you fucking,
it's like people are calling you unhinged. It's like,
bro, I'm fucking dealing with like fucking messages and DMs and phone calls and texts and all that kind of crazy shit over here. Like fucking, I'm fighting a battle with my hands tied behind my back because I can't present people's names. I can't say this person said this over here. There's so many stories over here, disturbing stories, you know, from women who like, you know, experienced some fucked up shit at the hands of Ashton, which I can't even fucking talk about because they don't feel comfortable presenting the information out there because they don't want to be identified. In the communities, if I put the information out there, they would be known as having stepped forward with the story. And who knows what kind of blowback they're going to have. Apparently, according to what's happening to me right now, the blowback is going to be quite severe. It's going to be quite harsh. So what are we doing right now to help victims to come forward with the story by Goob doing what he's doing? Are we working? Is he working towards this?
Doesn't help the situation at all.
He's working against it. He's stifling it. He's intimidating the shit out of them. I have people who are tagging me in the stories or telling me to not repost it because they're afraid of the repercussions they'll get. Think about that. I had to take down a story the other day that I reposted from one of the people who follow me. I spoke about it before, you know, and she was starting to be like lambasted by Goob's followers. Are you fucking kidding me?
You know, like people live on social media these days, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. My point is that it's like social death, you know, like in terms of your platforms, and like nobody wants to associate with you anymore, and like some people don't want to deal with that, you know, like some people are fearful of that, and it's like, oh, please take this story down, or please don't post this, or please don't tag me, you know, because like, you need to prop the victims up, and you need to give the victims a voice rather than stifle them and make them scared to come forward, because then these problems are never going to end. They're just going to continue. It's just going to be a cycle over and over and over.
And now I have massive accounts who are aware of this, acknowledge the issue, and are refusing to have anything to do with it because they're afraid of the repercussions from Goob. They're afraid of the repercussions from fucking Ashton, which boggles and blows my fucking mind.
Or their own social circles too, you know, like if you run in social circles, or you go to the gym and all your gym buddies love Ashton stuff and this and that, and like you have a moral compass and you're like, this isn't okay, but none of your other friends are like saying the same thing, maybe you just shut the fuck up. And that's kind of shitty too, you know, but it's like, I don't know. I could just see people in that scenario. You know what I mean?
No, me too. So what I also foresee happening is when all this shit is basically signed, sealed, and delivered, and that's it. It's packaged, it's sent out there, and it becomes fucking user friendly and shit like that. What I see now is these motherfuckers hopping on the bandwagon and saying, "Oh yeah, he was a terrible person. Oh yeah, look at this," and it
which is like a weird
me
sort of
because these same people who are being quiet right now will join the fucking bandwagon when the fucking hammer fucking falls. And ultimately, I'm dealing with I want to say the blowback, the fucking flack, the fallout, and that kind of stuff. But it's okay. I was prepared for this. I was ready for this. And I was thinking my close friend's story that this would take place, that I foresaw this happening. And lo and behold, it took place. Well, the same thing happened with Joe Stanek. When I presented Joe Stanek's case, people were like up in arms, like, how dare you talk about him, he's a good coach, and so on and so forth. And then I presented the receipts. When we presented the receipts, now all of a sudden, he's like persona non grata. Now all of a sudden, you have other coaches out there, like Marcellus and these guys, finally not associating with the guy. Or pretending not to, at the very least, you know? Or when confronted about it, like he was, they spent some time together at Worlds. It looked like Joe Stanek had basically, insinuated himself in the group there, while his family was there, so he could make a scene, whatever the case happens to be. But now people basically are in the know now. Now that it's cool to hate Joe Stanek, people hate Joe Stanek, and it took. I had to be very uncool for that to be brought out, for people to understand that he is not a person to be associated with, that he should not be supported. I had to eat a whole lot of shit to get to the point that the truth came out where people fucking understand this. I'm eating it right now.
I mean,
People fear social death. They fear social death enough to keep quiet and just stay complicit and allow bad behavior. And even if they're aware of it, they're just, not my chair, not my problem.
True, but social death ends when you put your phone down.
But I mean, I don't mean social media. I mean also in real life. It's
Well, yeah, but like most of these things happen online right now.
it's social media.
for sure.
It's
But
just
I'm
a-
just thinking of real life scenarios too.
True, but like maybe in real life at work and so on and so forth, it becomes, I would say, something else a bit more tenuous, harder to deal with. And so on.
Like the gym up north.
Yes, I know. But that's just a gym.
That's a real life scenario where people are staying quiet, ignoring and calling it drama and ignoring all the stuff because they don't want to get involved, right? Because if you get involved, you might have to speak up, right? Because it's gonna test your morals and your integrity, and like if you're gonna start fighting with your own shit, and it's like you don't, and people would rather just avoid all of that. And it's like even if they're fully aware of what had taken place, right? And that's what I mean, right? Where it's like this person is probably more fearful of losing what he has, right? Than like thinking, all right, if I speak up, people are actually going to look up to me and see me as like some sort of hero in this situation. And then I'll still be loved. I'll still be loved, and maybe even more. Anyways, people are just like, yeah, I'm not. I don't even want to risk that. I want to take the safe bet. I'm just going to ignore it. I'm going to call it drama. But then, like when that comes out, it makes you look bad. So you're better off just speaking up about things. Like it makes you a better person. You're a fucking better person if you speak up and just fucking do it.
Of course, you're gonna have to bite that bullet eventually.
Sorry, that was a little change.
No, but like you're actually right there. Like absolutely right. You should speak up on these things. We have those issues because eventually the light is gonna come out there. The truth always comes out. And if you're trying to shield the truth or hide the truth because it inconveniences you, what does that make you?
That's really what I'm saying.
So I don't know. I mean, like I don't want to be lionized here. I don't want to be fucking held up as any kind of hero when the case happens to me. I'm just doing what I think is right, and it's something which lies deep in. It's embedded in my DNA. It's what my family's done for a good long while. To be honest, my uncle was locked up in a Serbian gulag for 10 fucking years.
Back to Albania.
Because he protested against deplorable conditions in school. My other uncle was almost beaten to death because he was teaching Albanians in Albanian in Kosovo, while the Serbian government was telling him not to do so. My aunt was damn near poisoned to death. My family's gotten beaten like I don't know how many fucking times by Serbian paramilitary for being involved with Albanian political parties in Kosovo during the Serbian oppression years. It's part of who I am. So the internet scorn doesn't mean shit to me. It doesn't mean shit to me. It doesn't pay my bills. It doesn't make me a better person, whatnot. And it doesn't lock me up in a Serbian prison for 10 fucking years. This isn't shit. I could fucking deal with this all fucking day long. Fucking throw your stones and arrows at me all fucking day long. I don't give two shits. What's important here is the cause. There are women here whose lives are being upended by the shit that they're dealing with, by having to deal with this disturbing shit, and then to be fucking gaslit that it's not a problem, that it's okay to have somebody fucking sexually harass you over and over and over again, and then for you to be fearful to talk about it because you're afraid of being fucking mean by the guy. This is important. And having minors who are being fucking groomed by fucking full grown men. This motherfucker's close to 30 years old DMing a 16-year-old fucking dick pics and crazy shit. Like, what the fuck, bro? What kind of a planet are we fucking living in? The motherfuckers are defending him. Excuse my French, but like, it gets me quite a bit upset because my daughter's around. She's in the world.
Now,
She'll be
for fucking hours.
she'll be 15, 16 years old at some point in time, and there will be people out there who have bad aims will be coming at her. And so we have to set the norm now that she can speak up for herself. And that the other women out there, our moms, our daughters, our sisters, our wives and whatnot, can't have recourse for these abuses when they take place. Because they're legitimately being treated like as second-rate citizens.
Normalize speaking up, normalize, exposing bad behavior and fucking kicking these people out of the community and not victim blaming, because that's more of the normalized behavior, which I find very odd.
Yes. So unfortunately, this whole situation has taken a very unfortunate bent where it seems as though it's me against Google, but it's not. It really isn't. Who it is it's basically it's decency versus vulgarity. It's good people versus bad people out there. It's the truth versus those who like to fucking obscure it. That's what it comes down to. It's Ashton is the problem. Ashton and all the Ashtons who are out there and whatnot need to be fucking held accountable for the actions that they make. And this motherfucker is still making posts every single fucking day, all day long, as if it's not even taking place.
Is he still posting?
Yes, sir.
He is.
Every day,
single
multiple
fucking
times a day.
Just like nothing's going on, huh?
But I'm pretty sure he stopped posting about his thirst traps that he used to post about. Because now he's on the fucking... Everybody's waiting for him to say some shit.
The video, the guy that makes videos about fucking...
about
drinking piss from women deadlifting is a total fucking creep.
Who would have thought?
Yeah,
who would have fucking thought?
So I gave him the benefit of the doubt, picking up on...
And that's not even in like a kink shame type of way. That's in like this dude's a bit of a creep.
Yes.
It's a little over the top.
So I don't know, just this entire situation. It's taken the wrong bent. I've spoken to some women about this, and I don't want it to be about me versus Goob. It should be about how women need to have the ability to speak in the public space without receiving fucking death threats and without having fucking mobs of people coming after them. Because this is what's been happening. Like the whole, like what you called Mike Baxter situation in Indiana. The women who were speaking up about her being fucking gassed and called crazy and that kind of shit when they experienced what they experienced. What's happening, I guess, like out at another place up north that we're talking about over here. The same situation is taking place. The person's bringing up like the valid evidence and whatnot. Like there's court documents and that kind of stuff, and she's still being called crazy and gaslighted. Now it's happening to me, and I don't mind. Let it happen to me. It's cool. Call me, you can fucking tax my personality as much as you want to, but I have hundreds of women who are now vouching for what I'm talking about. And I know the truth. And I know deep down they know the truth as well. The fact that they're not trying to obscure it and whatnot, that's on them. So again, this isn't about me versus Goob. This is about how Ashton and these problematic people and whatnot need to be held accountable, and they need to be fucking brought down from positions that they're in, because they're definitely abusing the shit out of this. If you're taking a 16-year-old girl and telling her in your intake form to tell you how old she is, what her weight is, and so on and so forth, and then proceeding to fucking try to lure her sexually, sending her money because she's fucking rebuffing your advances to continue talking to you and whatnot, that's fucking wild.
That's predator shit.
Yes, and what's worse is now it tells me that he's done this before. The brazenness of it, the fact that he has a system established where he pays the money and that kind of stuff, asking for PayPal. This is the one victim who came forth from TikTok, right? Now, the difference between Instagram and TikTok is that Instagram has a largely adult base. TikTok is almost, the population there is, I would say, almost entirely younger people, kids included. How many kids has he done this to? So this is why it's important to open this up and to discuss this and to figure out what's going on there.
Couldn't agree more. I think that is probably a good spot to end it, though. And Tay, you got something to say over there?
No, I was just coughing.
So,
but yeah, I agree with everything. I mean, people have to speak up eventually. And stop demonizing the people who speak up. That's it. I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, it's been real as always.
Yes.
I think for the listeners out there, we're going to start doing more Zoom stuff. So we may be able to put out podcasts a little more frequently.
Yes.
I know you're probably excited to hear that. But we'll see what happens moving forward. We have, I am going to South Carolina this weekend for youth equipped and bench nationals. And then basically I'll be traveling. I think we're going to Ireland for a week in August, the second week of August. I have a meet to go to in upstate New York in Rochester at the end of August. You guys going to be at the Coliseum meet in Massachusetts? And that's in October.
I don't think so.
Possibly.
What is that? Never heard of that.
That's the money meet. It's a money meet in Webster, Mass, at Coliseum Barbell.
The more you know. I didn't know that.
Alyssa Orlando is the meet director, and she's playing fast and loose with the roster. I think she's trying to play games because it's a money meet. She doesn't want to. She's got the roster is going to be revealed 2 weeks before the event, which I think is.
I think she's hit us up. I believe so. In which case, I wouldn't mind helping out here.
But yeah, just saying, it's going to be a busy few months. So we'll try to get in as many podcasts as we can. I definitely want to talk more about the domestic abuse issue within the powerlifting community or within strength sports in general. But yeah, I think this was a good discussion for today. And yeah, you guys got anything to say?
I guess that's it, man. Just want to say thank you all for tuning in. For everybody who's been supporting me, I really appreciate you guys legitimately. It hasn't been easy to say the least, but I was prepared for this. But what made it a lot easier to book is having those conversations with people over and over again, proving all the stuff that I'm saying and telling me their own experiences at the hands of Ashton and even at the hands of Goob. Understanding that this is basically it's a repeat habit. It's not something which is coming out of the woodwork and whatnot. That I'm not alone in this. And then finding all the new allies that I found along the way and whatnot, seeing people, I guess, like vouching for me, it's meant a whole lot. But I think the most important thing is to spread the word so people know what's taking place. To know that these missing stairs and whatnot are indeed very dangerous and that should be also repaired at some point in time, so to speak. So again, thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate you guys. This is Yuli signing out.
Mateo signing out.
Peace.
Peace.